Hi, I'm Andrew Willens, lead game designer for Valkyrie Warzone.
So what's it like seeing your game here at eVegas and have people playing it?
It's amazing, frankly. It's been amazing to get a version of the game which people can play without VR on mouse and keyboard, because the EVE Online community is predominantly mouse and keyboard players on flat screens, and so it's really good for them to get hands on and play and interact with something that's in the EVE universe but radically different from EVE Online itself in terms of gameplay. So yeah, it's very exciting. We're getting some great feedback. People are loving it.
So Warzone had a ton of new content updates. Talk about how you go about making these updates while working with your community.
Always hand in hand. We'll have ideas about what we want to do with the game. We'll look at the forums, we engage with the community on a regular basis, and a lot of the time we're quite in sync, so if we're looking at making balance changes, it's because someone on the forums, drawn our attention to something. But what's really good for us now with Warzone expansion is we've now put into the game a lot more kind of complex back-end analytical data. So we're studying kind of almost on a weekly basis the pick rate of every ship, the win rate, score rates, XP earned, all of those things, so that we can actually look to see, how balanced we are from a data perspective. And so far it's pretty good. It's like a smooth horizon line. So we'll be monitoring that as the months go by and more people join the game, and seeing what people are picking, what the new favorites are, and why people like them. Yeah, we're on about our 6th version of the UI and the game menus. We totally overhauled the hangar, and just pretty much every pixel within the game has been touched to some degree. We took 27 ships and we iterated that down to a really tight selection of 13 in 4 very distinctive classes, and really pushed out the personalities of those ships. We have a brand new game mode which is called Extraction, which we said capture the flag in space, where you extract a relic and take it to a warp gate to score a point. So that is, that's a lot of fun. It's first team to 6 wins, and it's like about a 5-minute match, so it's really intense. Lots of touchdown moments, especially if you're just about across the line and someone takes you out. There's lots of hooping and hollering going on.
What's it like making a VR dogfighting game that takes place in the EVE Online universe?
It's been fantastic, because it means that we've, from the early days of Valkyrie, we've always kind of stolen their assets, so we ported across a lot of the assets from EVE Online, and there's this rich tapestry, this fantasy that's existed for so long, and it means that we can tap into it. So yes, we're telling a different story within New Eden, but we're using a lot of the assets and a lot of the narrative and the lore which fans of EVE Online are used to. So yeah, it's been a real help for us.
What's it been like seeing technology evolve since you started this project in 2014 up to now, and like the increases in graphical technology and CPUs and hardware, and what has that opened up for you creatively?
Bigger and better, is the honest answer to that. When we look at the game now, where we've just done another round of optimization for high-end NVIDIA cards, and when you see like the God rays and the particles, the increased VFX on the explosions, dynamic shadows, it just looks incredible. Whether or not it's with VR or without VR, they're all optimized now. PlayStation Pro, we've optimized again for that, so that we can run in native 4K. It's like got a dynamic resolution shifter, so depending on how much action's on the screen, it'll kind of scale up and down. We can be running on PS Pro 4K, which is incredible, and that's something we constantly keep on top of. So as soon as any advances in technology are available, we get them in the studio or we optimize for them. And that means there's a lot of stuff arrives. It's like Santa's grotto. We get a lot of boxes delivered weekly. Can you support this? Oh, let's do that. Lots of joysticks in the cupboard as well right now. Flight sticks and throttles.
What do you think? Do you think you'll ever combine EVE Online and EVE Valkyrie into one giant massive game?
I get asked this a lot, particularly at these events as well. The gameplay of both of those games is so radically different. I'm not sure what it would look like. It's a conversation which we can have when we grow to a level comparable to something like EVE Online. Then we could maybe have those conversations. But it'd be interesting to see how we do it from a design perspective. Would you take a fleet and meet another fleet in an area of space, with a specific amount of fighters ready to do battle, and then the action plays out real time in Valkyrie with Valkyrie pilots? Could you recruit pilots from Valkyrie into EVE Online as real players? There's lots of interesting things we could explore, but yeah, watch this space. Pardon the pun.
I think it would be a lot like Star Trek. You'd have like your giant frigates and your giant, cruisers, your USS Enterprise, but then you'd have like the smaller fighter jets that wouldn't stand a chance against something like that, so you would never want to attack
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah, right, totally. Because I mean, I don't think we'd ever move away from the core DNA of Valkyrie, which is visceral kind of up close dogfighting, and that's in smaller craft. We're not piloting Titans in Valkyrie. Even though we did announce that we were going to do that as an April Fool's joke, I'm not sure how that would look in VR. Piloting a Titan.